People, prepare. Today we present Samsung's pristine and premium S26 Ultra, a polished, pocketized powerhouse packed with potent processing, privacy pixels, and plenty of prestige. It'll presently be pressured with painstaking poking, prodding, prying, and un poquito of peeling to see if the polished paint on this pricey piece of personal preference prevails. Perhaps parts pop, or perhaps portions persevere. So prepare your popcorn as we pontificate on its performance. The punishment procedure proceeds. The coolest part of this S26 Ultra is probably the privacy screen. I personally probably wouldn't use it a whole lot since it does dim the screen considerably, as you'll see in a second. But first, I noticed that instead of a similarly colored piece of glass around the camera plateau, Samsung has stuck a milky clear glass under the circles instead. You can see the way the plateau glows and illuminates as I shine my flashlight into it. And we can also see there's still a tiny gap between the lens and the translucent portion. I imagine this means the circular lenses are removable, and we'll have to find out here for sure in just a second, as we always do. It would be epic of Samsung if they could turn this translucent plateau into a notification of some kind, like how the smartphone brand Nothing does. I don't know if an internally glowing camera island would help justify the $1,300 price point or not, but it would still look pretty cool. The part that bothers me the most about the privacy display is how dim it gets when maximum privacy protection is turned on. I mean, it works for sure, 100%. I have an angle finder here that can tell the exact angle at which a person might be able to still see your screen. And with max privacy mode enabled, it's basically a 45-degree window of visibility from the side. Without privacy mode, anyone standing within an 80-degree radius can basically see your screen. Privacy mode cuts the viewing angle visibility in half. If I were to get an S26 Ultra, which I probably won't, I would probably just turn on the privacy notifications. This is where a text or email comes in, and the only portion of the screen that gets dimmed or blacked out is the notification text itself. Really incredible isolation. iPhone users are going to be ecstatic when Apple invents this in a few years. Busting out the microscope, you can see that Samsung basically has two types of pixels, narrow pixels and wide-angle pixels. And normally all of them are turned on and working together for the full 1440p screen resolution. But as soon as privacy mode is enabled, we lose about half the pixels, all the wide-angled ones, leaving just the narrow beams of light meant for your eyes only. Now, this shouldn't affect the scratch resistance of the screen, but there's only one way to find out for sure. Pulling out the S Pen, this guy is about the same length as last year, but it's definitely a lot more thin this time around. The shape of the back end is also curved, so it does matter which way it goes into the phone. But it is nice knowing that it does not get stuck if it goes in backwards, like it used to on the original Samsung Note 5, which came out about 10 years ago. If you remember that phone, I do promise that stretching at night will help your lower back not hurt so much. The cool thing about the S Pen is that it has a row of copper coils in the tip. These help the digitizer behind the phone screen better triangulate its position. It makes the stylus more exact. About 2 or 3 years ago with the S24 Ultra, the S Pen had a capacitor inside that would wirelessly charge off the copper coils. But that capacitor and the capacity to charge has since been eliminated. There's no more Bluetooth functionalities with the S Pen this year either, just a little spring in the top that lets the pen click in and out of the phone. Back to the scratch test, Samsung is using Corning Gorilla Armor 2 on the S26 Ultra. Plastic would normally scratch at a level 2 or 3. But tempered glass, like we see here, scratches at a level 6 with deeper grooves at a level 7. But for some reason, that doesn't appear to be the case this time around. It is the same piece of branded glass as last year, but this year the level 6 scratches are extremely difficult to find. They are there, but barely. We're almost getting to the point where we can't say the thing. One mistake that I'll never make again, though, is not having a screen protector on my phone. I cracked the glass on my S24 Ultra a few months ago and ended up spending nearly $300 to get a genuine AMOLED screen replacement reinstalled on my phone, and that was doing it myself. A screen protector would have saved me, so not having a screen protector is a very expensive mistake that I won't be making again. I'll just pop the S Pen back into the slot where it belongs. What's cool about Dbrand's Prism Screen Protector, they're one of my channel sponsors, is that it even works with privacy mode. They come 2 to a box and are foolproof to install, and of course they are made with real glass. Link is down in the description. It's also interesting to find out that Samsung ditched titanium this year. We're back to using armor aluminum, which I'm actually okay with. The buttons are still removable. Titanium is cool and all, but aluminum gets the job done just fine, and it's easier to work with and easier to recycle at the end of its life. Now the entire phone frame is made with just one metal and not two separate metals glued together. The bottom of the phone has our 60-watt USB-C port, as well as our SIM card tray, and it has a gray rubber ring to help with the IP68 waterproof rating. There's no expandable storage, which is still annoying to me as a human who keeps his phone for a really long time, but also doesn't like to delete stuff. The logo on the back glass looks impressively etched. Apple could learn a few things about glass etching from Samsung. And moving up to the camera plateau, we have our top 50 megapixel ultra wide angle camera, protected with glass. Then our 200 megapixel camera, also with glass. And at the bottom, our 50 megapixel 5x telephoto camera that we took apart during the teardown. If you want to see Samsung's new 37% improved ALOP design that they didn't tell anyone about, feel free to watch the teardown video after this one. Then we have the 10 megapixel 3x telephoto and the laser autofocus on the side. The single-tone LED flash is also protected with glass. And I know I gave Samsung some grief about the lenses popping off on last year's phone, but this year I think they fixed it. Yeah, they still come off, but this time around it's almost like they're supposed to. The rings come off with the glass still intact, which means if you were to crack the glass on one of your camera lenses, it might just be a $10 fix that still keeps your IP rating intact, especially since the lenses just click right back into place. I'm impressed. Samsung took a flaw and turned it into a feature. Huge thumbs up from me, but let me know what you think down in the comments. The screen itself has basically remained the same as last year, still 1440p if you don't have privacy mode engaged, and still 2600 nits if you don't have privacy mode engaged, and still 120 Hz. It lasts for about 20 seconds under the heat from my lighter without any major damage to the pixels. Samsung has continued with the under-display ultrasonic fingerprint scanner, but again, for some reason, my level 7 deeper grooves just ain't slapping like they used to. I imagine Corning tweaked something in the glass recipe since last year, because it's holding its own against my Pix quite a bit better. The ultrasonic scanner still works even with the level 7 scratches. Finally, the bin test. The only Samsung to ever fail this test, of course, is the Samsung Trifold, which is to be expected, and this 26 Ultra, even with the switch back to aluminum, is still a rock-solid beast of a smartphone, with zero flex when bent from the front or when bent from the back. The only thing that will ever break this phone is a drop. And you might be like, hey wow, that is the most manliestly rugged case I've ever seen. And yeah, Dbrand took some creative liberties with the ultra rugged tank case. It's got more than a dozen little Easter eggs built in, from GPS coordinates of Area 51, Braille, Morse code. Fingers crossed nobody steals these Easter eggs. If you know, you know. It even has built-in magnets. Speaking of which, Dbrand's totally clear zero yellowing ghost case also has magnets built into it. If Samsung isn't going to innovate, then Dbrand sure will. We even put magnets on my favorite case, the grip case, with my teardown skin installed. Magnets for days. Grab any one of these protective cases with the link down in the description, or pick one up at your local Best Buy if you ever, go outside, because protection is always a good thing. Thanks a ton for watching. I'll see you around.